A mystical force is trying to destroy an entire family. Who and why has bound a deadly supernatural entity to this family? Don't miss out. The psychics will uncover the secret of a deadly ritual. Welcome to Psychic Investigations, a channel of true and impressive stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants use their extraordinary abilities to investigate resonant criminal cases and shocking paranormal phenomena. "45-year-old Valya Irishchuk from Ukraine is terrified of losing her children. She has 4 daughters and a 9-year-old son. Valya claims that an unknown sinister force, which has settled in their house, is trying to kill them.
It shows itself to us before something bad is about to happen.
It's so awful.
The first to feel the presence of the supernatural force in the house were Valya's younger daughters, Karina and Renata. One evening, the girls were watching TV in the living room when they suddenly heard footsteps upstairs.
Someone was walking up there. And then near the chandelier, it started stomping in one place. And the chandelier, these bulbs started moving.
The girls ran upstairs to see who was walking there, but found absolutely nobody. That night, the sisters didn't sleep. They sat together in the room until morning.
I was so shocked that I couldn't say a word.
A few days later, Renata saw a silhouette in the yard that scared her to death.
I was washing dishes and needed to take out the water, and I saw a man's silhouette. He was looking at me from the side.
She was shocked. Her hands were trembling.
Karina cautiously looked out the window and froze in horror.
It was a black silhouette, and it passed by so quickly. I was so scared that I couldn't breathe. I immediately phoned Mom.
Valya works in Italy, where she takes care of elderly people. The girl's father left the family long ago and disappeared from their lives. Their elder sisters live separately. One of them is a university student, the other is married and lives in Germany. So, the worried mother dropped everything and came home that same day. And on the first night, she saw the sinister force at her bed.
It was like someone grabbed my hand and pulled me. And I saw men's legs next to me.
But the worst was yet to come. The supernatural force began not just to scare, but to pose a real threat to the lives of Valya's daughters.
I gathered the clothes to do laundry and was going downstairs. When I stepped on the first step, I felt someone standing behind me, and I fell down.
Karina tumbled down the stairs and lost consciousness from the impact.
Someone pushed me in the shoulder here, and I woke up here. I broke my leg and this arm. This bone.
Karina was lucky to be carrying laundry, which softened the fall. If she had hit her head on the stone steps, she wouldn't be in this world anymore. And a week later, Renata ended up in the hospital with severe burns.
I heated some water to bathe and was going to take the pots and pour them into the bathtub.
And the same thing happened to her as to me.
Just like her elder sister, Renata was pushed in the shoulder with inhuman force.
I poured the water on myself. I immediately had a burn on my leg.
But above all, the family fears for the life of little Christian. Valya had him with her second husband, whom she met in Italy, another migrant worker like herself. The boy also sees the terrifying supernatural force that calls him somewhere at night.
He suddenly gets up and says, "I need to go. I must die."
The devil was calling me.
He said you had to follow him and
Die.
he drew that devil. It has horns.
Valya sought help from the local priest, but the blessing of the house didn't help. She is in despair. She had this house built with money earned through hard work. Her first husband, with whom she was still living at the time, didn't contribute a penny to the construction.
This is my home into which I put everything because I earned and built it with my own hands. and now I'm scared to enter it.
The psychics are the woman's last hope.
I really hope the psychics can come and help us figure out with this.
Taking on the investigation of this mystical case are our project participants Yaroslava Fedorova and Olga Kalinova.
I had a vision. In it, I saw the two girls and their brother at home. Suddenly, the ceiling started to lower. They got scared and ran to the door. Suddenly, someone on the other side turned the key in the door, and I heard wild laughter.
Do you mean the children are trapped in the house? I had a dream of those two girls, and behind them stood a man. He was dark-haired and tall, and suddenly a rope appeared and started to wind around him, you know, like it was binding him. It almost reached his throat. Then, it turned into a snake, released him, and crawled towards the girls.
But who is this man? And what is his connection to this family? Was he dead?
Half alive and half dead.
I had another vision. A woman. I didn't see her face. She was holding some rectangular object and it seemed to be burning. The woman threw it, and everything around died.
Soon, the psychics are in the village, where Valia and her younger daughters are eagerly waiting for them.
May we come in?
We've been waiting for you.
I'd like to work with you.
Hold this. The card of death. A woman lies in a coffin with flowers.
I saw her dead in my dream.
Your mom?
Well, I had a dream in which she was lying in a coffin, dead, in this house. And next to her were my sister and two other sisters. They were all lying in the coffin. I was weaving a wreath from daisies, lifted my head and asked why she had died now, and then my nose started bleeding. The blood began to cover the flowers. I saw the floor completely red, and it was my blood.
This is horrifying. I'd like to see where the danger to your life is coming from. I saw something terrible near the girls. One moment, it seemed like a ball of lightning, and the other it was some kind of shadow. And then snakes started crawling around.
It was a nightmare. What lives on the territory began to attack Karina right before our eyes.
No, we won't let him take you.
My legs are going numb.
Calm down, calm down.
Please give me a chair. When the girl started feeling bad, we began to help. Yaroslava started chanting spells, and I prayed.
My legs are so cold I can't move them. It's like someone is holding them.
Strangely, not only did the clairvoyant see something terrible near the girls, but Karina herself saw it too.
A black shadow, like a black pillar.
I saw it too, but I didn't want to scare you. It's some kind of entity that can take different shapes and forms.
Bring water.
Look into my eyes, please. Are you better now?
Yes.
Thank God that horrible entity let the girl go. We need to work in the house to understand what's happening here.
Stop.
We were going to enter the house, but we heard a crash, like something had fallen and...
What was it?
This.
The wind couldn't have knocked it down. It was very scary.
Look, there's the spirit of the man. But who is he?
He's very young.
He's showing me a road, then darkness, a crash, and death.
It's horrible. It was like the man was ground up in a meat grinder. I see his arm hanging like this.
That's my friend.
He crashed in his car on the highway.
He crashed his car and died last winter. Vasya. We were friends.
When my friends told me he died, they sent me the photos. In them, he was in the car, and his arm was hanging like that.
I see him embrace you. And he's holding something like stones or beads. Something blue.
A bracelet. A present from him. We were camping in the forest. I took off the bracelet and put it in the car door compartment. It stayed with him, that bracelet.
He says, I loved you a lot.
I thought of him as a friend, but he was in love with me. He wanted to date me, but I refused.
Vasya was 5 years older, and for a 17-year-old girl, that was a significant difference. There was nothing keeping him in the village, so he decided to go to Belgium to work. On the way there, he got into a fatal car accident. This happened 2 years ago.
I blamed myself. I thought that if he hadn't gone there, if he'd stayed with me and gone in the other direction, he wouldn't have died.
So could it be that Vasya is the reason for what's happening in the house? Is he seeking revenge because the girl he loved so much rejected him?
If Vasya's spirit wanted revenge, he would only harm Karina. But the threat is to the whole family. The spirit of your friend doesn't wish you harm. He wants to protect you. Pray for him. He is your guardian angel. Even now, his spirit has come here to help. He's showing us something.
For some reason, he's showing another man who was supposed to die here with a rope. Who is it?
My husband, Genya.
Did he try to hang himself?
A few times.
Here at home. It was in the evening. I had already gone to bed. Then I heard something crash and thud. Then I went to the shed. I saw that the rope was broken. He tried to hang himself.
This second door.
Yes.
That's why the spirit of the young man who died in the accident brought us here. He was giving us a clue. Do you hear someone laughing?
Yes.
The laugh is unhuman. And the voices are changing.
Yes.
Incredibly, I heard terrible laughter in the yard. Valya and her daughters heard it too. But no one nearby was laughing. Everyone was too shocked by what was happening. And then I had another vision, the one I saw before the investigation, in which the ceiling was coming down on the sisters and brother in the house.
It's the entity.
On the day your husband tried to hang himself, he wasn't himself. The entity ordered him to do it.
He told us he'd seen the devil.
The same entity is trying to kill you.
But where did this entity come from?
And then Yaroslava and I heard Vasya's spirit again.
He says that the reason is something in the White House.
And there's an animal there, but it's not alive.
Like a statue.
My parents' house, where I used to live, is white. And there's a concrete statue of a bear there.
Can we see that place?
It's not far from here.
I keep seeing the vision of the rope turning into a snake. I think it might be connected to the girl's father. He did try to hang himself. This entity, it was sent, you see? But I can't figure out if it was sent specifically to a person or to the house.
Yaroslava and I were walking to Valya's parents' house when suddenly
Let's go there. It smells like burning.
There's smoke coming from that house.
Who lives in that house?
Everyone there died.
But if no one lives in that house, where is the smoke coming from?
This really, really scared me.
When we approached the house, we didn't see any smoke. It was as if it weren't there, and there was no one around, no one in the house, and no one around it. It's a completely empty place where nothing could burn.
It turned out that the owner of this house froze to death while he was drunk.
I see the vision again, the one I had before the investigation. A woman whose face I couldn't see was holding some rectangular object. It seemed to be burning. The woman threw it and everything around died. Now I see that there are some rags and something else burnt and thin inside the object. And now I see the woman's face. It's you, Valya. What is that in your hands? And you're throwing it over the fence.
The matchbox?
It was a matchbox. It was tied with a black thread. We found it near my parents' house. I wanted to see what was inside, so I took off the thread and opened the box. There was a candle inside. It looked like it had burned and there were some rags. I looked at it, closed it, and then threw it over the neighbor's fence.
You held it in your hands. Show me where you found it.
Valya takes the psychics to her parents' house. This is where she found the thing. But this is also where the spirit was taking the clairvoyance.
This is the beast.
Yes. Where exactly did you find it?
Over here, this spot.
Yaroslava, do you hear it? That horrible laughter again.
Yes.
From the energy coming from this place, I sensed that the charm was made by a woman. But it was not made for you, but for your first husband. You lived here with him when you found the charm, right?
Yes.
Did anything unusual happen to your husband on the day you found the charm?
Something happened to Zhenya that I never saw in him. He said his legs were paralyzed.
The thing that happened to Karina today.
Yes, it was the same.
He told me, but I didn't believe him.
Who made this charm for Valya's husband and why?
And you held this charm in your hands, right?
Yes.
So the energy of that thing remained on you. Can you hold it with your hands? See, a snake again? This is a love spell.
Some woman was trying to enchant your husband.
You only saw that woman once. She doesn't live here.
You know her.
She was involved in trade. She had dark hair.
I don't remember.
Many unpleasant details about Valya's first husband came to light. It turned out that he often drank and even raised his hand against his wife.
My father brought only tears and disappointment.
Moreover, Zhenya was quite a womanizer, and that dark-haired lady wasn't his only mistress.
He often cheated on me.
And one of his mistresses decided to take him for herself, using magic.
And then I realized what my dream meant, the one about a man being tied with a rope. Valya's husband was bound to someone, like with a rope, using a love spell, and it was done by a knowledgeable woman using otherworldly entities. Look, this is how he saw it. He saw an entity with horns, right?
When I was little, he told me what he saw. Ram horns, he said, and it laughed. That's what he told me.
The laughter has been haunting us here from the very beginning.
And he was losing his mind. Those entities were telling him what to do.
It was terrible. He was constantly drinking, coming home, and beating Mom.
Zhenya is to blame for what happened to him. He paid for his unfaithfulness, but he didn't bring trouble upon himself only. Now, because of him, his children are in danger.
When the woman who bewitched him saw what he had become under the influence of her spell, she kicked him out.
Yes,
A love spell never gives a person love. A love spell is a curse. And that woman didn't bother to lift the spell. So, the entity stayed with Zhenya forever.
But how did that entity get into Valya's new house?
Your father lived in the new house for some time while it was being built.
Yes.
That's when he brought the entity into your house. And it stayed there.
how do we get rid of it?
We need to cleanse your house of all this.
The clairvoyants spent several hours chanting prayers and performing rituals. Finally, they gave Valya and her daughters protective charms.
From now on, nothing will ever disturb you anymore.
I'm deeply grateful to you. I felt relief immediately, as if a weight had been lifted from my soul.
This is unbelievable. Because of their father's reckless life, his daughters almost ended up in the other world. If this story impressed you, please give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Many more amazing investigations are coming up. A girl's ghost emerges from a mirror maze every night. Who imprisoned an innocent child there? Don't miss out. The psychics are going to unveil a horrible thing a mother did. You're watching Psychic Investigations, a channel of true and impressive stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate intricate criminal cases and awe-inspiring paranormal phenomena. Tetiana Ostapchuk from Ukraine approached the psychics, asking them for help. The woman carried her daughter for 9 months, but the baby was born dead. The girl was born with her umbilical cord wound around her neck 3 times.
I was shocked. What for? Why? Why did this happen? It was a nightmare.
Several years before her daughter's death, Tetiana lost another baby. She had a miscarriage 12 weeks into pregnancy.
I was admitted to the hospital with severe bleeding.
The woman prayed for her son Kirilo to be born, but she was close to losing him as well.
During the midterm examination, I was informed that there was a possibility of miscarriage. They hospitalized me to be on the safe side.
For 5 months, Tetiana feared making a movement and prayed for her baby to be all right.
I prayed to God for everything to go well.
The boy is now 4. He makes his parents very happy. But last year, the boy began suffering from mysterious attacks of suffocation. Doctors said it was because of adenoids. The boy had surgery to remove his tonsils, but the asphyxiation keeps bothering him even now. And recently, something happened to him that his mother can't explain at all.
There was a large mirror in the bathroom, and it suddenly fell and crashed for no reason.
It was a miracle it didn't kill the boy, who was washing his hands in the bathroom. Kirilo got scared and fell, hitting his head on the floor. His blood was everywhere. His mom says she spent the whole night at the hospital praying for her son.
He split his head badly. I cried over him. He's the dearest thing I have in the entire world.
Tetiana is certain the danger looming over her son and the deaths of her 2 other babies are the revenge for the murder her elder brother Serhiy committed.
One day, he returned home and found his wife in bed with another man.
Shocked, Serhiy grabbed a knife and chased his wife's lover.
And Serhiy killed, but his victim wasn't the man who was with his wife, but his friend.
Serhiy's accidental victim was Yuri. When he saw Serhiy running along the street with the knife, he immediately ran outside and tried to stop him.
And he stabbed him right in the heart.
Serhiy was sentenced to 7 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter. His unfaithful wife left the village, while Yuri's grieving mother cursed Tetiana's brother.
I can't help thinking that Yuri's mother didn't curse him alone, but our entire family.
Tetiana begs the psychics to help her sort it out and save her only son. The most experienced experts in our project, Jana Shulakova and Rubina Tsibulska, agreed to help the woman.
I had a vision of a young woman. She was in tears. And then she went up to a wedding dress, took and embraced it.
Was it Tetiana?
No, it was another young woman, but it has a connection to Tetiana.
It's weird. But my mirror is showing me a little girl with a kitten in her hands. She's fair-haired and blue-eyed. But she's dead. Jana.
Could it be Lisa, Tetiana's deceased daughter?
No. She's 4 or 5, and she tells me, "Let me out of here."
Let her out of where?
She's gone. Oh God, what is it?
Kitten on the road.
It's a sign. Jana, the girl. She's standing over there. Let's go with...
We're in the village where Tetiana lives. However, it's not her house.
The girl's spirit is telling me. I must come back here at 4. She's gone again.
Rubina, Tetiana's waiting for us. Let's return here after the investigation.
At that time, we were unaware of the grave tragedy that lurks within these walls and Tetiana's connection to it.
Hello.
Come into the yard, please.
Tetiana's husband is away, so the woman is at home with their son.
Help me save my child, please.
We'd like to work with your son.
What's your name?
Kirilo. I go to the kindergarten.
What do you like to draw?
Cars and swings.
When Rubina started working with the boy, Tetiana's cat began circling around us as if he saw something, and then I saw the dead girl's silhouette behind the boy.
When the boy looked into the mirror, the fair-haired girl's spirit I'd seen recently stood behind him. She didn't intend to hurt Kirilo, but I didn't understand why I was constantly feeling her.
Who could the dead girl possibly be? And what is her relation to the curse of Tetiana's brother that makes her children die?
We need to continue working, but it can be dangerous for the boy. You'd better take him inside the house. Somebody comes to the boy every night and leaves him before dawn. It happens at the same time every night.
Please make them leave. I don't want anything to threaten him. Help.
I hear you being called a murderer.
After my brother murdered, people called me so.
The heinous crime left the small, peaceful village in shock. The mark of the murderer hung over the entire family.
This tragedy didn't influence you alone. It ruined your mother.
She began drinking.
In just a few years, a wonderful mother and caring housewife transformed into a completely different person. She died from alcoholic poisoning. Tetiana's father left her family years ago, so she became an orphan.
What is your brother's name?
Serhi.
The cards say he's dead too.
Yes.
The woman's brother died on the doorstep of his house. His neighbor found his body.
By the time I arrived there, he was already dead.
A heart attack.
But Tetiana claims her brother never had any problems with his heart. She is still struggling to reconcile with his death.
You must know it. While he was dying, your brother asked you to forgive him for the humiliation you suffered after what he'd done.
It's important for me to hear. I forgive him.
When Tetiana's brother committed the murder, it was a great tragedy for the murdered man's mother. And the words of her pain, indeed, turned into a curse.
but I felt that it wasn't it that took Sergei to the other world. His heart stopped because of something else.
The curse has nothing to do with the force that's haunting your son. It's a different otherworldly force. We must look for the answer in the house. I feel flowers, white flowers. There's a black thread wound around them. Here they are.
The flowers are on the dress.
Do you have it?
I do.
Could you bring it? Suddenly, I had another vision of the crying young woman. This time, she wasn't embracing the dress, but she stuck a pin with the black thread into it. I need to find the black thread.
Here.
It's done to cause damage.
I can't believe it. I couldn't even imagine anything like that.
She poured all of her problems and infertility into the dress. A bride who wears it will never have children.
I see you lost your first baby soon after the wedding.
Yes.
Where did you find this dress?
At a dress rental salon. But I bought it from them.
Did you buy it secondhand?
Yes, it was in perfect condition and very beautiful.
A young woman hired the dress before you. She was cursed with infertility, and you inherited the curse with the dress? This is why you lost your babies.
I can't believe it.
Is it possible that this pin with the thread puts the little Kirilo in danger?
The cards told me it was the curse of infertility, and Tetiana's son was only born thanks to her prayers.
I went to churches and monasteries. I asked God to show mercy and let me be a mother. Thank God, He sent me Kirilo.
But Tetiana's son suffered from something from the other world, and the infertility charm had nothing to do with it.
Regardless, we decided to neutralize the charm. And then I heard the voice again. It said, "Search in the house."
The clairvoyance didn't feel any mystical threat in Tetiana's house anymore, but the woman assumed that it could probably mean her brother's house.
We were here this morning. I see her again. The fair-haired girl with the kitten.
Who is this dead girl? And why is Tetiana crying?
She's my niece, my brother's daughter.
What was her name?
Sonia.
A few years after he was released from prison, Sergei married again. His wife's name was Ina. They had a daughter. But what happened to her?
She's so little. She's lying down helpless and little. She's like a little angel. I see a woman come up to her and cover her mouth and nose. And the girl, she killed her.
She was smothered by her mother, my brother's wife.
What a nightmare. The mother murdered her 5-year-old daughter while the girl was sleeping peacefully in her bed.
It's not a mother, it's a beast. Where was your brother?
He was at work. She did it early in the morning, but we only found out in the evening.
Sergei was doing his 24-hour shift at the farm in the neighboring village. When he returned home, his wife wasn't there, and his daughter was lying in one of the rooms, dead.
My brother called me, and I heard him yelling and shouting, "Sonia's gone! this is the end. This is the end. And immediately I dashed there. When I saw her, I couldn't believe she was gone.
I see this woman write a letter. It's your fault. You are to blame. It will be better for her in the heaven.
That's right. This is what she wrote word for word.
The father found the terrible letter on the kitchen table, and only then did he realize it was his wife who'd killed his daughter.
When he read the letter, he screamed madly and ran out into the street.
Sonia's mother is alive.
She didn't dare to do this after all.
The police initiated a search for the woman, but she appeared at the police station a few hours later and confessed to everything. She was sentenced to 13 years in prison.
Killing her daughter was revenge on her husband, as she wanted a different life. She wanted money.
She told him to find a better paying job elsewhere, but he refused to go, saying he didn't wish to leave his family.
Tatiana says that working 2 jobs, Serhii was able to provide a decent life for his family, but his wife wanted more.
And then I felt a shock of recognition. This was the curse of the woman whose son Serhii had killed. He felt the same thing as she did. The grief of losing his only child. Then I knew why Serhii's heart stopped all of a sudden. He was unable to accept the death of his daughter, who was the essence of his entire life.
After you lost your children, she was a bright spot in your life.
I was with her since she was born. I treated her like my own little angel and called her my princess.
I felt the awful death of Tatiana's little niece had something to do with the thing that was haunting her son. Do you feel Sonia's soul in the empty house when you come here?
Yes. When I enter it alone, I always have a feeling of somebody standing next to me and looking at me.
I see Sonia's spirit again. She's pointing at the clock. She's crying and saying she was trying to show it to you. It's an alarm clock. It rang, and you got scared.
Yes, it really happened.
Amazing. But when Tatiana visited her brother's house a week after his passing, the old alarm clock in this room suddenly went off.
Nobody had wound it, and when it rang, the glass began trembling.
She was showing you the time. The clock was showing 4 o'clock.
She was killed at 4 o'clock.
This is the time of her death.
God.
Sonia's asking to release her from somewhere. Where was her body found?
In another room.
Can we see it? Is this where her bed was?
That couch.
I see her in a mirror maze. Oh my God. I don't feel well.
She saw Sonia in the mirror maze.
I looked up and saw an old Trumeau mirror in front of me. The murdered girl's energy was emanating from it. Look.
She's here. And you saw somebody in this mirror many times.
I mentioned it, but nobody believed me.
It's unbelievable. Is the girl's spirit locked inside the mirror? How could this happen?
It wasn't standing here.
It stood over here where the TV is now.
We needed to move the mirror to the place where it had been on the day of the murder. I needed to look into the past to see how the girl's spirit ended up locked in it. This little helpless girl. When her mother killed her, death was reflected in the mirror.
Normally, when somebody dies in a house, all mirrors are to be covered with cloth. It's done to prevent the late person's soul from entering them.
The mirror trapped the girl's soul. She's locked inside the maze. Because the girl's soul is trapped in our world, she keeps coming back to the room. It always happens at the exact time when her mother killed her. At 4 o'clock every morning. This is Sonia, who's posing the threat to your son.
She came to play with her cousin, as she did when she was alive. This is why the mirror crashed next to the boy. It was a portal through which the girl's spirit visited Kirilo.
The woman recalls that before she was killed, Sonia would often come to visit her, and she loved her little cousin.
Once, she came up to the stroller and said, "Who is this?" And I said, "It's your little cousin." "Cousin?" she said. "Can I play with him?"
Sonia's spirit didn't mean harm to Tatiana's son, but the necrotic energy was dangerous for the boy.
Can you do something so Kirilo is not in danger anymore? Can you give Sonia peace so she can finally rest? She's an innocent little angel.
We must release her from the mirror, and then her soul will go to the other world.
Rubina made a protection circle to prevent the spirit from returning to the mirror world. And I was supposed to summon the girl's spirit and take her out of the mirror maze.
Kitty.
It's unbelievable. This is the same kitten that our van almost ran over earlier this morning. It appeared in the house the moment the clairvoyants began the ritual.
Sonia loved cats.
She did.
Cats felt it. They appeared every time Sonia's spirit was nearby. Listen, her spirit is scared, and I'm not sure if she'd come out to see us. Jana, what if we show her the kitten? It's possible she won't be scared that much.
And the girl's spirit went out of the mirror to play with the kitten.
She's here. She's next to you, Tatiana.
She loves you a lot.
I love her too. And I will always love her. Sonia, I will never forget you.
I need to take her away from the mirror.
Quick, we must break it so she won't re-enter it. Sonia is in the heaven with her father. He finally reunited with his daughter. They're smiling, and nothing is threatening your son anymore.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This is what matters most. Thank you.
It is beyond horrendous. Tatiana's brother paid with his daughter's life and put his entire family in danger for the involuntary murder of an innocent person. If you're impressed by the story, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Many more incredible stories are coming up.